Today's episode comes to you straight from the Foundation Insurance Services podcast studio, your home for elevating voices, inspiring leaders, and building the community one conversation at a time. If you're enjoying the journey, we'd love for you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach even higher.
There's so many tools that I learned as a missionary that I use in my daily business that I don't know if I could be where I am or do what I do without those things. How to talk to strangers, how to resolve concerns, how to make friends out of enemies, how to show empathy, how to be a good listener, how to ask follow-up questions, how to build relationships of trust, how to disarm somebody in a matter of just seconds.
Hey there, welcome back to Above and Beyond, where excellence meets elevation. I'm your host, Jan Simon, and this season we're raising the bar, diving into the passion, purpose, and defining moments of leaders who don't just aim high, they live there. Big ideas, real stories. Let's get into it. Today's guest is Adam Baugh, partner at Withey Morris Baugh and one of Arizona's go-to voices in land use, zoning, and development. He's built a reputation as a problem solver who helps remove obstacles and bring complex projects to life. Beyond the courtroom and city halls, Adam is a deeply connected individual in the community and helps shape conversations around growth, leadership, and the future of Arizona. Adam's a family man, community builder, and today we welcome him to the program.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And there's a lot of really bad things you didn't know about, so I'm glad you...
I didn't.
No, you didn't go pull like the public records research and find like my arrest.
I may or may not have. Yeah. Yes.
That's the surprise at the end.
Yeah. I'll get into that down the road.
I'm just saying I'm really glad that we didn't grow up with cell phones in our era, because do you know how many bad things would have been caught on camera and then our parents would have seen it and we would not be able to go within 1,000 feet of a school today?
Absolutely. There's a show, it's either on Hulu or Netflix, but I think it was like on History Channel or something previously. And it's got, I almost said Alan Alda. Who's the Fonz? What's his name?
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
So he's the host. Yeah. And it's like stuff we used to do or the dangers we used to live under or something like that. And it talks about everything from jarts. Remember lawn darts?
Yeah.
Jarts.
Oh, yeah. Throw them up in the air, hope they land in a circle.
Yeah.
Maybe stab your neighbor.
Exactly. Talks about lawn darts. Talks about, all sorts of stuff. But it's actually pretty good because, growing up when we did.
It was like just, entertainment.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like the things that like would really get you in trouble and probably did, but like, they just let you off the hook.
I can think of a couple times an unnamed friend and myself may or may not have used some explosive to blow parts of roads up.
Yeah. Mailboxes.
Oh, yeah. Baseball bats with mailboxes.
Yeah. We grew up near a bunch of orchards by our house, grapefruit orchards. I know this isn't the podcast that you wanted to
That's
start
fine.
with,
It's totally good.
Let's say real quick.
It's good.
We just pull up like the Tacoma pickup truck back. It wasn't Tacoma because Tacoma wasn't around there. It was
SR5.
It was just called Toyota pickup.
Or pre-runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just roll up there, back truck up, just fill them up with a bunch of grapefruits. Mm-hmm. We just drive around town.
Throwing that
yes.
mailbox.
One guy driving, one guy leaning out the front window, two kids in the back of the truck. Mm-hmm. That would blow up across Go Gilbert today.
Oh.
Or, any social media app.
Can't even
back
imagine.
Then you're just trying to see, it sounds terrible, just stuff happen.
I think about, we used to do that, and not grapefruits because I was from Washington. We didn't have grapefruits up there. But we had soda cans or 2-liter bottles that did basically the same thing.
Shake them up real big.
Oh, yeah. In back of the truck. Okay, go.
Yeah. Except for yours are probably like Blue Ribbon, not soda cans.
Maybe.
Pabst.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, yes. Or Hams or something like that.
Zima. I know he had Zimas.
Oh, my God. I totally forgot about Zimas. Yeah. I think it was Zima's, Boone's Farm, Bartles and James, beer. We had beer. We had white beer cans. Mm-hmm. It was generic beer. Yeah. And it just said beer. It was like a white can with
Simpsons,
black.
Actually.
Yeah, a white can with a black label. Beer. Okay.
It was on sale.
No idea. All right. Yeah. So tell me, for people who don't know Adam Baugh, tell me what your childhood looked like.
Well, I think I just disclosed a lot of the negative parts about it. You know what? I grew up, I was 5 of 6 kids. My dad was in the Air Force. We moved around a lot. I was born in Alabama, moved to Virginia real quick. my dad was working at the Pentagon, San Antonio, Guam. I lived in Guam for a couple of years, then California, but that was all before third grade.
Wow.
That was a lot. And so you kind of, when you move every 2 years, your family are your friends. It's just, there's not a lot of kids living on Air Force bases. And so it wasn't like you just can make friends as quick and easy. So I grew up with Transformers and G.I. Joes and my siblings. That's basically who my friends were. And then you make a friend and they get a transfer or you get a transfer. And so your friends are short. But I grew up in basically Southern California for about third grade on. And we have an awesome family. My dad retired the Air Force, became the assistant city manager the next day in this brand new city called Moreno Valley. It had just been recently incorporated, and my mom was a school teacher. And so as we grew up in Southern California, I did all the things that kids do, play sports, ride your dirt bike, and get into some mischief, trouble. I skated, I surfed, and had a good time. But my dad would always have these grand openings because the city was a new city. Everything was the first time, the first park, the first senior center, the first dog pound. And so as a kid, we kind of got dragged to these things because there were 6 kids. My mom would be taking somebody to some practice somewhere, and then my dad would have us in tow with him while he had to go do a ribbon cutting or whatever. And so I saw a little bit of the behind the scenes at City Hall.
Gotcha.
I was in my dad's office a lot, and I'd see the police chief and the fire chief. I didn't know who those people were. It was a small town, and he was in city management. And so I saw those little things. And so it's kind of funny as I grew up, I go to college, go to Mission, go back to college, I get married, and I go to law school down here. And my dad was like, you ever thought about going to the JAG, being a lawyer in the Air Force? And I was like, I just don't see it happening. I know that was your experience. It wasn't bad for me, but I don't have a passion for it.
Yeah.
But in a weird way, I stumbled into this world of land use and zoning and development, and it's the other side of the coin of what my dad was doing. And so I never foresaw it. It didn't drive me here, but there's a lot of connections, and it's an opportunity for me to kind of continue those conversations with my dad. As an adult, he's always asking me what projects I'm working on, what things I'm seeing, what neighbors hate you, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he's living through my adult experience because that was his adult experience just on the other side of the table. And so
Do you, and I think you kind of answered this already, but when you're dealing with, whether it's dealing with situations or different projects, do you guys sit down and talk about it, and he gives you kind of his insight?
Yeah, I'm 46, he's 83.
Okay.
I was the younger end of the family, and so I think this is something that we connect over, right? Because while he was a city manager, he also was a school board member.
Okay.
So he knows what it's like to run a campaign. He knows what it's like to have activists against a project or an issue. And so when I tell him about some of the absurdities that I experienced in my business, he knows about it because he's seen it. He knows what the politics are like. He knows what City Hall can be like. He knows the pettiness of people, the fickleness of it. Yeah. And so he'll ask, what am I working on? Because I think there's a weird part of him that's wants to live that experience a little bit,
Yeah, yeah. You said sports.
Yeah.
What sports did you play?
I played soccer and tennis, and I played tennis because my dad played tennis.
Okay.
And he would play with my other sisters, and I would just go and then I collect all the balls, and so I played tennis, with him, and ended up being pretty decent. And me and my buddy were doubles teammates, and we went all the way to state championships through high school.
Oh, nice.
And senior year we went undefeated, but I don't know anyone cool who plays tennis.
Hey, Andre Agassi?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he cool?
It wasn't like I went around and told people, hey, I'm a tennis player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And then I stopped. I just stopped. Turns out it didn't really help me pick up chicks.
Well,
my name's Adam and I play tennis. It just didn't really get me anywhere. So, and I played a lot of soccer growing up. And then when I got my driver's license, spent a lot of time at the beach. We lived about 40 miles from the beach. Okay. And, probably this distance of here to maybe Glendale.
Okay.
But 40 miles in Southern California is a day drive. Yeah, it takes forever. Yeah. And so, but we did dawn patrol, so we'd always leave super early in the morning, get down there right at the beginning, and then we'd try to leave the beach to get back home by 1.
Nice.
And we'd drive down and try to sleep on the beach. We would we'd go down to the swap meet and buy all the surf and skate videos that had, some of our favorites, surfers in there. And they always have like the punk rock music in the background.
Yeah.
Which got me really big into punk rock. So I was going to surprise you.
I can't see you as a punk rock
I know.
person.
I loved it. I mean, that was
crazy.
I still love
So when you say punk rock, are you talking like Simple Plan and...
No.
Or are you talking like hardcore punk rock?
No,
like
not necessarily hardcore either.
Nirvana and stuff like that?
No, that's grunge. I mean like Minor Threat, Bad Religion, Lagwagon, Operation Ivy. A lot of like local scene stuff they were the bands that were in the background of these surf and skate videos.
Gotcha.
So some of the bands from San Diego, from Orange County, from LA, these videos were what we watched, and you hear the music in the background, and you just couldn't buy those CDs at Blockbuster Music, or we called it Music Plus, or or Warehouse or Tower Records. Like you had to go to like an independent record shop, and then you'd have to send $8 and a pre-addressed mailing envelope to like such and such record label. And so that's what I did. Every Friday night I'd go to punk rock shows, and then Saturday morning we'd go skate and surf, and then come back and just kind of do it all the time. And it's weird because I grew up and became like a real adult with a law degree. Yeah. But it wasn't where I was trending.
I was going to say, were you more of a Point Break type individual? You remember that movie?
Yeah, I love it. It's a great movie. Oh, I love Johnny Utah.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
That was you as a kid?
Not really. No. I mean, like I was always at the beach all the time, and I was always skateboarding, but I wasn't.
Did you have a mullet?
What's that?
Did you have a mullet?
No, dude, that's country people. I probably had just, regular
long hair,
teenage hair. You know what I mean? I mean, like my dream was to live in San Juan Capistrano. I always wanted to like grow up, become an adult, and move back down. That's down by San Clemente. But when I became more of an adult and went on a mission and had higher priorities and understandings of my life after that point. I was kind of a punk, like jerk. Probably better. I was kind of a prideful jerk, and
I can't see you being as arrogant.
Oh, I was, and there's a part of me that still is. Yeah. I mean, frankly, a lot of me still is. But I grew up fast when I was a missionary, and so when I came home, I had like different priorities.
Where did you do your mission?
So you don't get to choose where you go.
Okay.
You just go where
the church tells you.
They send you.
Yeah.
And, I graduated high school, went to Utah, was enrolled at BYU, and just felt like I needed to go do this. And so I unenrolled, or I guess I put my enrollment on pause and left school, and put in like an application that I wanted to be, and got an invite to
Buckeye.
Well, Buckhead, I think I say Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'll tell you that I had.
This episode is made possible by our partners at Built Different Restoration. When water, fire, or mold damage hits your home or business, you need a local team you can trust to respond fast and do it right. Learn more at BuiltDifferentRestoration.com.
Shout out to Guidance Alliance, a trusted peer advisory group for business owners who want honest answers, not motivation posters. Small groups, weekly sessions, ideas that actually work. Visit guidancealliance.com to learn more.
They keep the special needs kids close to home.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously. Well, I had this impression that I was going to learn a foreign language, and I wouldn't just say impression. Like, to me, the way I feel God's presence in my life, I really felt like I had a spiritual like moment, and I didn't tell anybody this, but I was like, I know I'm going to speak Spanish. So in my mind, that's Costa Rica or Chile or whatever.
Yeah.
So they send you a letter. I open it up. I'm in Utah college. All my surfer friends are down in Southern California. I do like a long distance call. They all go to my parents' house because they're going to hear the news.
So do you read it while, kind of like a reveal everybody at one time? Exactly. So you didn't know at this point?
They didn't know.
Okay.
I just open the envelope. I call my mom and dad. My buddies are down there. My friends in Utah who I just met at college are kind of around me. And I open it up and it's like, you've been called to serve in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was like...
So disappointed.
Yeah. You could hear the depression in my voice. Like, maybe I will just stay back at college, but I put it down.
So what... And I'm sorry to cut you off, but looking back, was there something you had to learn in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, 100%. But the story didn't end there. I put it down. And my friends were like, why didn't you choose someplace cool?
Because they don't understand.
Yeah, like you chose Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Like all we knew about Atlanta, Georgia was Outkast,
Oh.
the rap group, right?
Yeah.
And so like, why Atlanta? And my sister comes back. She's like, you need to finish reading this. And so I'm like, okay. So I literally, it's a whole sheet, and I only read like one line, and she's like, read it again. So I read it, and it said, you've been called to serve in the Georgia Atlanta mission and teach the gospel in the language of Spanish. And I was like, what? Who speaks Spanish in Atlanta, Georgia? This is 1997.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who speaks Spanish in Georgia? I mean, I had a lot of misconceptions about what it was, but in my mind it was rednecks or something.
Yeah.
And so I leave, and I spent 2 years there. And the only time I spoke Spanish was on Wednesdays when that was like my one day off where I would go to like get my groceries, do my laundry, do my shopping, write letters, go to the post office or whatever. But every day, all day long, I just spoke Spanish. And what I learned is, that was the beginning of a migrant population moving out there, and they would live in pockets.
Okay.
This apartment complex, and then like 10 miles away, this apartment complex. And they were, for most of these people, their first time there. And so when you ask the question, like, what were there lessons you need to learn? Yeah, absolutely. I would say there's nothing that's been more foundational for my life than those 2 years between 19 and 21. I learned how to live independent, live on a budget, be resourceful. I learned empathy. I learned service. I learned how to care. I could see people's real struggles in real time that I had no appreciation for, because, like I said, I was just kind of a jerk punk for that time. And people were coming to me as a 19-year-old boy with their big problems that I haven't lived this experience yet. And they're trusting me to guide them through this stuff. And so when I came back home, it's a 2-year commitment, and I came back home, and you have to pay for it all yourself. I lifeguarded this year before and saved up most of my money and paid for it. And you get companions, but you don't know who you get, and you have them for like maybe a month or two, and then like they'll switch them up.
Oh, really?
You might be sent to a different area with a different companion, and so you don't choose who you get to serve with. You don't choose where you go.
Okay.
And so within Atlanta, I might have lived in like 7 or 8 different places for like 2 or 3 months at a time with different people. And I can't say that these people who my companions were not people. They weren't people who I would hang out normally ever.
Yeah.
We didn't have common interests, but I got along with all of them. And a great skill that I've learned to apply in my own life as an adult. There's so many tools that I learned as a missionary that I use in my daily business that I don't know if I could be where I am or do what I do without those things. How to talk to strangers, how to resolve concerns, how to make friends out of enemies, how to show empathy, how to be a good listener, how to ask follow-up questions, how to build relationships of trust, how to disarm somebody in a matter of just seconds. And when you know what I do for a living, when you realize that I got to go to neighbor meetings where people shout at me and scream at me because of my projects, and I'm selling them on a project, and I got to help them see why it makes sense. I mean, you and I have chatted about things. These are skills. They're soft skills, right? No one's taught me any of these things. I haven't read books. They're not something you teach in college, but these are skills that I learned knocking doors as a missionary in deep Baptist country, trying to sell religion. And then when I came home, I sold pest control during the summer in between college, breaks. Again, selling door-to-door sales, trying to sell people on pest control they didn't think they needed, and trying to earn money to pay for my next, year of college. Those skill sets I learned on my mission now translated into being a door-to-door salesman for 2 different summers, which translated into me convincing my wife that she should take a chance on this idiot. You know what I mean? Which translates into how I got my first job and convincing them to hire me when I didn't have experience, to what I do for a living now, representing developers and business owners as they, navigate City Hall. All these skill sets I learned in this 2-year period where I was like deeply consecrated and sacrificing. And so people be like, man, you made a big sacrifice. You dropped out of school, you broke up with your girlfriend, you didn't party, you didn't do all the things you love doing, and you paid for it, and you went to a place you didn't really want to go to. But dude, I don't know if I call it sacrifice at all. Like that moment set me up for my whole life. So you see me talking about it with joy and enthusiasm because there's been nothing better in my life than that moment. And that moment parlayed into so many more important. The last day when I was leaving my mission, we have a mission president. He's a volunteer. And he's like, so what do you want to do when you grow up? I go, I think I'm going to be a dentist. He's like, dentist? I don't see that at all. And he goes, why do you want to be a dentist? And I go, honestly, I don't really know. It's just ask something. I just said an answer.
Yeah.
I've been to the dentist a few times. I think they make good money.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, have you ever thought about being a lawyer? And I go, nah, not really, because those guys don't have a lot of ethics. And he's, you know I'm a lawyer, right?
No kidding.
And then he pulls out a picture of some leaders in our church. He goes, lawyer.
No funny.
And so, I ended up coming back home, finishing up, going to college, and I kept thinking about that final interview. And he's like, you should consider being a lawyer. And never once entered my mind. Mm-hmm. And I think that conversation led me to look into it, and voila, 20 years I've been practicing law. I own the law firm that I started with as the grunt. Mm-hmm. Now I'm the owner of it. And what if I hadn't had that conversation at the end?
Yeah.
And I only had that conversation because I was there for 2 years. All these things arrive out of that moment.
Was getting into land development as an attorney, was that just something you fell into out of school, or was that a passion that you had, project or something in school, and then you're like, oh, that's where I'm going?
So, what did you get your degree in?
Fitness and sport management.
Very good. So, are you doing? I'm looking at your body.
Oh, come on!
That's good. But look, fitness and sports management. You probably thought you were going to be like a physical therapist or a trainer, mm-hmm. or like an agent,
yep.
or something like that. A marketer for an NBA team. Very few people I know have careers in the degrees that they got, and even fewer have careers in areas that they wanted to go to before they went to college.
Yeah.
So I had finished my mission, and I was back at college, and I had to pay for school. So I started teaching English as a second language, at the local elementary schools.
Oh wow!
When I had in between classes, and then I started teaching citizenship classes in the evening and English classes to adults in the evenings, and I was probably working 15, 20 hours a week for the school district teaching these classes. And so seeing people battle so hard in Atlanta, Georgia, as they are new to this country, and then teaching these classes, I really wanted to help these people. And I decided I was going to be an immigration attorney. And Arizona State had this pro bono program where you could go and volunteer down at an immigration detention center in Florence. So I came down here, I visited, I saw it, I go, that would be a good experience to have. So I came to ASU in Arizona for that reason. I knew nobody in Arizona. My wife's from Huntington Beach. I'm from Riverside. We were going to be in California. Arizona was a 3-year kind of temporary stop for us. And for that first year of law school, every Friday, almost every Friday, I would drive down to Eloy, which is, about an hour's drive south of Tempe. Mm-hmm. I would go to this detention center. I would translate papers, like asylum documents for people, and I'd come back home. And I in the year, realized I'm not doing anything that's going to help these people go forward. I'm just doing things, but they're not actually taking them to a spot where it's making a difference. Yeah. And then I got a job as a law clerk at an immigration law firm, but they were more like corporate migration for Motorola, Microsoft, and GM, and they were moving very smart people, like engineers, across the globe. And so I was doing exceptional visas for these types of people. And that was the corporate side, but that wasn't fulfilling either. And I got an internship with the mayor of Phoenix during that time because I just needed some credit hours. Mm-hmm. And my intern with the mayor, one day, I'm just in the corner, basically getting some hours, but not allowed to say anything. Just
listen. Yeah.
Don't even open your mouth. Just stay quiet. Act like you're taking notes. And these guys come in and they are pitching this project for a cell phone tower on South Mountain. And South Mountain has tons of cell phone towers. Yeah. But that's actually a park. And at some point, the city passed a policy they weren't going to allow any more cell phone towers. And so these people were pitching the mayor on why it made sense to add another cell phone tower. And by the time I left, I was convinced that we should have another cell phone tower on South Mountain. Yeah. And I was like, who are these people? What do they do? I've never seen this before. And they spoke with such art and clarity, and they were storytellers. And someone said, that's a zoning attorney. And so I was still in law school, so I took a zoning law class, and I can understand now how zoning influences everything we have in the city, how streets laid out, how businesses are built, where industry is coming from, where neighbors live. And I started just trying to talk to anybody. I got a summer internship in Las Vegas with this big firm, and so Las Vegas is a good old boy kind of type of town. Mm-hmm. And I saw how this firm project got approved in Pahrump, And I know you know where Prump is because it's some of the best brothels in the country out there.
Exactly where that is.
And it had major opposition. It got approved, no problem at all. And after into lunch, like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Our guy knew the county directors, and it got done. Oh. And so when I came back, I saw how the art of it works, and then I saw now the relationship side of it. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I really wasn't particularly bright. I wasn't the smart one in my school. I just was likable and a grinder. Mm-hmm. And I think those two skill sets really matched up well with this area of law. And so I tell people all the time, I learned more how to be a zoning attorney selling pest control door-to-door for 2 years and selling religion, essentially, than I did anything I learned in law school, because those opportunities, those skill sets taught me how to, like, talk to strangers, how to convince people, how to build relationships of trust, how to tell a story. And so when I came back from that summer, I started meeting every zoning lawyer in town. This is 2005, and sending letters and resumes before, there was emails and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And this guy took me up on my offer to take him out to breakfast. I think he liked me enough, and I essentially just said, I'll work for free. And I don't think he'd ever heard anybody say that before. And I just said, I already have a full-time job. I'm working at this place. I work there from 5:30 in the morning to 2 p.m. I'll come work for free in the afternoon. And a lot of these zoning meetings are at nighttime, like neighbor meetings and planning commission. And so I don't think he thought I was being real. And he ended up paying me like $25 an hour, I think, because he probably felt bad.
Felt like he needed to or something.
So I would go do my real job, and then I would go do this thing. And at some point, someone saw me after like 3 or 4 months of this, and they go, hey, they want to interview me. Mm-hmm. And they brought me in, and they offered me a job. And I called the guy I was working with, and I said, I have loved the last 3 months working with you. I've learned so much. This man over here has offered me a job. If you think that there's an opportunity for me to work with you down the road, I'll say no to the job, and I'll continue this kind of partial arrangement with you. And if you think, hey, Adam, you're a nice guy, but there's just not a place for you here, just let me know that too, and I'll take this opportunity. And this is the end of 2006. And he goes, give me 24 hours, and I'll call you back. And he calls me back, and he goes, the next day he goes, when do you want to start? I go, tomorrow? He's like, this is December of 2006. And he goes, yeah, we'll start January 1. So January 1, I literally talked my way into a job. And I didn't grow up around here. I didn't have connections around here. I didn't know anybody. Yeah. But I believed, I was willing to bet on myself, and got a job and started doing good work, started learning the practice, brought in a couple of small cases here and there, brought in more. And pretty soon it became evident, like, this guy's really not just put a ton of hours in, but he's like rainmaking. And I never did any like intentional rainmaking. I just always try to be involved and serve, and then people appreciate that, and then they come to you. Yeah. And at some point became a partner, and then at some point they like realized we either make him like a equity partner, or we're going to compete against this guy, and we like him, so why not just make it work out? And so flash forward, and I own the firm, and me and my partner own it, and we've got 15, 16 people that work with us, and it feels good. We just opened our building, and I'd love for you to come and see it. But when you see your name go up on the side of the building, and I have 4 sides, so I made sure I had signage on all 4 sides. But when you see it come up on the building, you're like, wow, this is real. Like this happened. This happened, but it didn't happen by coincidence. It didn't happen by luck. It happened like intentionally, and also with things sometimes out of my control. Yeah.
This podcast is powered by Above Par Network, where networking isn't about awkward mixers or endless pitches. It's about genuine relationships, real opportunities, and having a good time doing it. If you're ready for networking that actually works, visit AboveParNetwork.com.
This episode is powered by 5 Leaf Financial, expert accountants, tax preparers, and CFOs who help you make smarter financial choices. If you want peace of mind around your finances, visit 5leaf.net.
Talk to me about, I hear obviously a ton of passion with regards to what you do and where you've come. And I would almost say you've just defined what success is to you with your name on the side of the building. There's probably other layers to the success. But have there been pitfalls? Have there been bumps along the way where you're like, I'm done with this?
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with people anymore.
It's actually all gone perfect for me. So sorry. I'm sorry. Is that a different podcast you want? No, of course there are. There's that's real life.
Yeah.
Like if it was just all roses, it's not real. That's like a TV show. Look, I'm successful because I've made a ton of mistakes. It's just I've learned how to grow from those mistakes, how to adapt from them. I told you about that summer I was in Las Vegas, interning there. I didn't tell you that at the end of the summer, I didn't get a job offer. And the whole point of interning in Vegas is to get the job offer. I didn't get the job offer because I made a big mistake. Well, actually, I look at it, I think it was small, but at the time, it was big for them. And I should have known better. I ended up like going to a function, meeting somebody who worked for a client of the firm. And I was just talking about like a project that we were working on. I didn't do anything bad, but the whole point of lawyers is confidentiality. I didn't break any confidentiality, but it's never a good thing when it gets back to like the people you're working at, that your summer intern was talking about a project that they're working on. And I didn't spill the beans or like that, but just being too casual in that, it was embarrassing. And I thought I left my wife in Arizona and 2 kids, one of them who was just born, to go to the summer clerkship. And I came home a loser. I didn't get a red rose. And I felt like such a doofus that I literally fumbled. It wasn't no other reason. And I had always driven my own success. And that was the first time where like my efforts not only didn't deliver the result, they like my efforts actually caused the lack of result. You know, I've had a lot of those mistakes, but the good thing is I think people that I've been around with are forgiving. And I think have been willing to kind of coach and mentor me. So all those things have kind of sharpened me, helped me get to where I'm at. I mean, I've also made mistakes thinking I could do things that weren't achievable. Sometimes it's hubris or ego, or it's like, I can do this. Why not me? And, you know, like we've had some zoning cases that you and I have chatted about that in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have taken, probably weren't at the right time for that to go forward. Or maybe I just wasn't the right talent for that, but you learn from it and you go, okay, here's how I'm going to do it differently next time. Or maybe I could have done it, but like I didn't manage it properly. And there's also things like I've made mistakes raising my kids because sometimes I've been too focused on my business or probably neglectful in other ways. So my life is literally just full of mistakes and failures that I've learned from and somehow have turned them into teachable moments.
Try to do better the next time.
Yeah, all the time. Look, and I will make more. I will have more. Right now I'm serving in like a leadership calling in my church. And I don't know why anybody thought that they should ask me to do it, because I'm just not, I myself don't see myself as that person that it can lead like a congregation. But I have a servant's heart and I believe in Jesus that much that I'll just do it. And what I tell people is if you hold me up on a pedestal, you will be disappointed. I'm not pretending to be anything special. I'm just the person that was willing to say yes when they came and asked for somebody to serve. And I say that because I will fail you, inevitably. I know I will. But if you can appreciate that about me and expect it, then you'll, I think, be ready to give me a second chance or give me a little bit of leeway or a little bit of grace. You know, and the same thing happens in my business. I had this tough case in Chandler, Arizona, last December. I've been doing this 20 years. I never, ever lose cases, ever. It's the first time I've lost. And I could probably count like 2 or 3 times I've lost a case. And the other 2 times I lost, I've refiled them and got them approved. I don't think I'm going to win this one. And I lost the case. I hate losing. It's not my money, but I hate losing more than I enjoy winning. And so that just, I fight so hard and I lost that one. And I knew I was going to lose if I walked in the room. I told the client we shouldn't move forward the case. We don't have the votes, but he had insisted on it and wanted his day. And even though I knew we weren't going to win it, but I also can look back and I go, dude, I made some mistakes in that one. I didn't manage some expectations well. There was a lot of lies about the case. And I just figured that in that instance, the truth would kind of be clear and that people wouldn't buy into the hysteria and like the fakeness and some of the rumors and deceitfulness. But at the end of the day, the things that weren't true got more attention and more headline than the actual truth of it.
Isn't that kind of really what happens these days? I mean, we could probably list multiple situations where that has happened, where,
people don't want to know the facts. They want to be validated in their feelings and their emotion.
Right.
And so you could say that about my business, about me bringing a new project. People will say, I mean, you've heard it. There's like, people complain about a project is like ordering from a menu board at McDonald's. Like, I'll take like a number 1, crime, number 3, traffic, supersize me with property values, and throw in
hookers and blow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's the emotion of it. But outside of my business, you could say the same thing about politics.
Yeah.
About things that happen in the community. And I think the failure is people don't do personal research. They don't, not a lot of people do any of the lifting of background research or fact finding.
Yeah.
They're reactionary to what is following in their social media feeds. And so if the only thing you're consuming are the social media feeds, then you're not really seeking truth or maybe even obtaining truth. You're just consuming what this algorithm is feeding you. And so in my business, as I tell a project, and I guess for the listeners here, like at the end of the day, people hire me to get their projects approved at City Hall. Whether it's a business owner who wants to get his building built and permitted faster, or a developer who wants to get the zoning changed, or something that's a small business owner who's stuck in the rigmarole of City Hall bureaucracy. People hire me to be their friend at City Hall. And so I have to present facts. I don't get the luxury of being dishonest or lying because I have a bar license and it's not worth risking.
Right.
But people who are opposing a project or don't like a project, there's no consequence. Exactly. They don't have to risk an ethics violation or a complaint. Or if I lie one time, I might win the case, but I will never be able to bring another case to that city again because they'll know that guy's a liar.
Yeah.
It's not worth blowing up your reputation for a single win. But for the people who post online or react maybe unfair or with a high degree of bias, there's no consequence for them to be that way. And so that's the hard part, not just about my business industry, but just like where we are in America right now. You could say that about the hysteria over our water rates in the town and the meters or whatever, or about juvenile delinquency or kids riding their e-bikes. I mean, there's always something. And I feel like online, people's worst form of character comes out. I don't see a lot of best behaviors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's who those people are overall. I just think online that's who they project.
Easy, it's easy to hide behind the screen. So tell me, from when you were a surfer kid in Southern California, watching your dad run through politics and manage the city, through going on your mission, where you're at today, and all the process in between, how's leadership changed, or your definition of leadership changed?
That's a good question. My dad was a community leader. He was on the Optimist Club. He was on the Kiwanis Club. My dad was man of the year for the city at one point. I mean, and it wasn't because his role. He was a community volunteer all the time. So I saw like servant leadership from him 100%. And then in our church, he was always a leader. And in our church, no one gets paid. There's no paid clergy anywhere. You're like me, a lawyer by day, and then a bishop on the weekend. And then in a couple of years, I could be like the nursery leader. We all just volunteer. So I saw, a lot of leaders in my life. And as a kid, there was opportunities for me to be a leader. In my church, in a little young men's group, I was the president of the small deacons, which are the 12 to 14-year-old boys. I was on the student council in high school. One of the days I missed in high school was the day they announced the results of the student body election because I ran and I was too scared to even be at school in case I lost. I called in the attendance office from home. Hey, by chance, the results of the thing? I found out I won.
That's so funny.
And I was the captain of the tennis team. And one year, this spring break, our coach said everybody needs to play tennis every day. And when you come back, I'm going to ask you if you played. Well, my family, my dad got conned into buying like a timeshare subscription, Terrible mistake. You can never get out of it.
Right.
But at the time, we thought we were balling hardcore. And so he upgraded his points and went from like Palm Springs, where he bought it, into like converted it into like Acapulco or whatever. So we're down in Acapulco. And I didn't play any tennis for that whole week. So he came back and we're in the locker room dressing up for the first Monday of and everyone's talking about like, did you play? No, I didn't play. Nobody played. What are you going to tell coach? I'm going to tell him I played. So we get to the courts, and the coach lines us up like the highest ranked player on the team down to the lowest ranked. And so, I was probably like number 2 or 3, and he starts at the bottom. Did you play? And every kid said I played. They played, and they got to me. And I just said, I didn't play. And the kid after me said he played. So I was the only one who said he didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
And coach ripped me a new one.
Mm.
What do you mean? He was Jamaican. So just think of it like in a Rastafari type of voice. And he was so disappointed that I hadn't played as the captain of the tennis team.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole other team had played. How did you not play? But I knew nobody had played. We all talked about it in the locker room. But like my integrity and who I was as a person was way more important than this role. And I just remember thinking, I didn't rat them. I didn't say anything else. But like the one guy who showed leadership just got lit up.
Trouble.
And I could never tell him. And so those little things happen. And when I was a missionary, I was a chance to be a leader in those things. But I don't know if I consider myself a leader here locally. I just try to do good things. And, I have people that work for me. And I think, what kind of boss would I want to have? One who's kind and empathetic and not like a taskmaster. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's leadership or not, but I've had good mentors and models to follow. And so maybe I just am a poser and I replicate it, but it works for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Do you see? I mean,
it's funny because as you're speaking, I kind of feel the same way. Like people will come up to me and say, "Hey, have you ever thought about?" And I'm like, "No."
You know what it is, Jan? Though it's not that we see leadership in ourselves, but I think people see us willing to serve, willing to give our time. And a lot of people are selfish with their time.
Yeah.
Or they guard their priorities. And so they look at you and they go, this is a person who gives beyond his self.
Yeah.
And I think they identify those traits with leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I consider myself a leader. I consider you a leader. I see you lead tremendously in the chamber organization. Your involvement is far greater than mine. I've been on that for 10 years or so, but so maybe we don't see in ourselves that other people identify.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Maritime USA for sponsoring the show, helping businesses simplify payment processing and reduce unnecessary fees. If you're tired of overpaying to accept cards, it might be time for a better option. Learn more at maritimeusa.com.
This episode is supported by Rocks Ink Calligraphy, where every piece is created by hand and designed to be remembered. From custom calligraphy and engraving to live event personalization, Rocks Ink turns meaningful moments into lasting art. Learn more at rocksink.com.
Well, thank you. It's interesting. I had a guest on the show recently, a little bit ago, but recently, who said that he had a mentor at one point say to him, "People like you, but do they respect you?"
Yeah.
And that has been like living rent free in my head just over and over and over again. And I'm like, dude, how do you know? Right? I think about that. How do you know if people like you, but do they respect you? What is that? What is the difference? Anyways, I don't know why that just came out, but it's like something you said made me think of that. I'm like, it just eats at me.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think people that don't know me maybe don't respect me.
Yeah.
But I think once they do get to know me, they do. But
and I think, and you said this regarding your law license. I'm the same way with my insurance license. That's my life. I'm not going to do something just because you want to save a couple dollars, right? I'm going to tell you what I believe is the right thing to do. And unfortunately, fortunately, through 30 years of doing this, I've found a little bit of knowledge in the law with regards to how insurance works, but it's that thing where there's been multiple situations where it's like, I would rather not write your business than write your business knowingly incorrect. So, but I see that in you. So obviously you grew up around, your dad who was heavily involved, and you watched the servant leadership through the years and that sort of thing. But is there an impact that you hope to leave on your community or your family?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, like my mom didn't work growing up. She was a teacher. She stopped teaching to raise kids. And then my youngest sister. I was number 5. My sister was number 6, and we were done. My mom was done. And when she went to kindergarten is when my mom said, I'm going to go back and be a teacher. But like you don't make a lot of money being in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Especially with 6 kids. My family did all kinds of stuff to make extra money. We used to throw yellow phone books on the driveways.
Oh, yeah?
You know, like delivery phone books.
Big. It must have been huge in Southern California.
Exactly. Big phone books. My mom would teach piano lessons and dance lessons out of the home. My dad would teach at the community colleges wherever he was stationed as like a side job in addition to whatever his Air Force job was. We always had to have side hustles. As a kid, I remember drinking powdered milk as part of my cereal because we didn't have real milk.
I've talked about that on this show.
Is that a thing? Like people don't even know what it's like to grow up that
It's
way.
so funny because TJ Tillman, who was on this, he owns Outcast Donuts and that. We had that exact same conversation.
Really?
I grew up on powdered milk. We did not. I don't remember ever having an actual gallon of milk or whatever.
We had a lot, but like when we didn't have it, and my parents, so we had food storage, and my parents made us eat through our food storage.
Okay, like to rotate it
Yes.
through. Okay.
But also I wouldn't say we were poor, but we were lower end middle class. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah.
And so powdered milk. I mean, if I had a juice box, it was like treat time. You remember those little?
I kid you not. A donut in my house was very few and far between. There was.
Dude, my mom made our donuts.
Oh yeah,
we didn't buy donuts.
There were a couple times I remember my dad. We didn't have any food at the house to make lunch.
Yeah.
And he'd come to the school he'd say, "I'll take care of it," whatever. He'd show up and it always had a donut in the lunch bag, and it wasn't like often. It was like once a year. But.
Vienna sausage. Did you eat those things? Red Devil ham.
Yeah.
Spam. My mom would have dehydrated
Kraft macaroni
potatoes.
and cheese.
Yeah.
We had
you had
boxes.
Kraft? You had luxury. I had the store brand.
I don't know if there was store brand back then, but there probably was.
It's like we always had. And so like as a kid, I never felt like I could ask my parents for things because I just knew like their economic situation was very visible for me to see and observe. So I was hustling all the time. I would go to Price Club, and I don't think that's a thing anymore, but I think Price Club.
Well, it's Costco and Price Club.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they joined. They merged. Yep.
Yeah, so I'd go to Price Club or Sam's Club. By the way, I feel like my family was on a whole other economic status the day we got a membership at like Sam's Club or Costco or whatever it was. But I'd buy like 2 boxes of blow pops. And I'd just sell them for 25 cents a piece. And if I sold them all, I could make $6 a box.
Oh wow!
And I'd sell blow pops at school. I'd take flyers to my whole neighborhood, and I would offer to pull people's weeds for $5 an hour. I was always hustling because I needed the money. I didn't feel like I could ask my parents for that kind of stuff. I had to pay my own gas. I mean, I don't want to create an idea of like poverty by any means, no. But like it was more like I was in tune to like what their means were, and I wasn't going to ask for those kind of things. So when I, came home from my missions in school, I started work. I had to pay for my own college, so I did all the jobs. I did the summer pest control thing, and then when I was married, I would buy and sell cars on the side. I'd flip cars, and because I was in law school, I couldn't have a job, so I'd try to buy a car and flip it. And then I got my real estate license and started selling all my neighbors' houses because they were all losing their houses in the recession, and I was like short selling all of them.
Wow!
And then I started like buying and selling liquor licenses. I mean, I always had a side hustle. So you asked like, what's the lesson you're teaching? Like, first of all, like I'm teaching. I've taught my kids how to like create a paddleboard business during COVID because people couldn't really go anywhere and they could just be with like a family. And so like we had 2 paddleboards. Like, why don't we go put these up for rent? And then it was successful, and they bought 10 more, and then we were running a little enterprise for a few years. And so I have always tried to teach my kids like entrepreneurial skills and mindsets. Even though I'm the owner of the firm, I implement a lot of entrepreneurial ideas within it. I changed a lot of our billing model, so it's not necessarily by the hour anymore. It's just flat rate. I'm willing to take chances on things, even if it doesn't work out and I lose money on the deal. It's okay because I'm going to learn from it. And so I've always been teaching like resourcefulness, grit, entrepreneurial, hard working. Like my kids haven't all. I have 5 kids. 3 of them are adults. 2 are married. The 3rd one's a freshman in college. I don't know. I know that they know these principles because I preach it at home. I talk about it. I demonstrate it. I live it. But not everybody's cut out for it, you know? And sometimes like, oh man, I wish I had someone teach me these things when I was younger.
Oh,
'cause
absolutely.
I would have taken off.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur in a lawyer's body. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Yep.
But like, had I been pointed or directed that way in the beginning, I think I would have had a totally different liftoff. And so I'm teaching these things to my kids, but my kids, despite my best efforts, they are who they are.
Yeah.
They're not me.
Yeah.
And I've really struggled to back off of like trying to compel them or force them to do these things that I see myself now today.
Yeah.
But I think they've grown up in a school situation where they're repeating what they see like a drone or a robot. And at some point they'll have their sort of awakening and realize, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for?
Right.
So
I would agree with that 100%. I mean, I think about myself, and it took me almost 25 years to get to the point where I thought, I mean, for years, I was like, I just do this myself. I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to do this myself. Never did. Never thought I was prepared. Never thought I knew what I was doing. Finally started the business for myself. And now I look back and think, had I done this in my 20s and had the energy I had back then, totally different ballgame.
There's this great show, and I listen to it all the time. It's called like The Corner Office. You ever heard of it?
Sounds familiar, but I'm not
He
sure.
spells it Koerner. So it's
Okay.
it's almost like Kerner Office.
Okay.
His last name's Kerner. And he just tells the story of, he interviews people and he just has a conversation like this. How did you build what you've got, your enterprise? And it's just entrepreneurial successes. And I listen to it and I go, and I'll like send it to my kid, like, dude, you could totally do this.
Yeah.
And I'll even fund it. I will fund it. The money, I think, would be the most like biggest obstacle for them doing it.
Right.
No, it's not. They don't have to drive.
Isn't that crazy? Because I think about that. I think the number of ideas I come up with that if I just had been wiser with my money in my early life, now I'm like, oh my God, and then I look at some of the kids today and I just think they're okay punching the clock or whatever.
They will be, and at 25 years, then they won't. Kind of like, I mean, you just said it yourself. At some point, you realize, what am I doing this for? Yeah. I had this idea when I was in high school. You know what it was like back in the day when it was commercial break, you had to walk up to the TV, push a button to change the channel. Mm-hmm. And then like at one point, your parents had a TV with a remote and you're like, what? This is life-changing? Yeah. I don't have to leave the couch to change the channel. Mm-hmm. And then at some point I realized, remember when your home phone went from cord to cordless? Mm-hmm. And the cordless phone could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. And then like the phone ring and you reach down, but you pick up the remote and it's like, where's the cordless phone? Yeah. I had this idea. I'm like, why don't we
do one and one each?
Yes. Make a phone that can control the TV or vice versa. And it turns out they do. It's called the iPhone.
Exactly.
Bro.
I was just saying your iPhone can do that.
Yeah, but dude, I was thinking about this in 1993, bro.
That's funny. And
then it was like, why? And I was like, or like everyone's got a watch, like, because remember the computer watches?
Yeah.
Literally, you'd push
calculators.
Had like the calculator watch, but it had like tons of buttons on it. Yep. I had one of those. I'm like, man, what if I could I wish I could have this button I push and it controlled the remote of the TV. It turns out Apple Watch. Come on, Steve Jobs.
A number of years,
dude,
right?
We were on the same page, just different generations
behind you, yeah.
But I have these ideas all the time, and it's the same way. When I drive by dirt, I look at dirt differently because of my business as a zoning and land use attorney. Mm-hmm. We help this town and the cities build their projects. Yeah. But I look at dirt. I don't look at what it is today. I look at what it should be or what it could become. And so the same mindset is with businesses. I have so many ideas from businesses, but I can't run an 18-person law firm, serve my clients in the firm, and also create new businesses. I'd like to empower people to create businesses and fund them, and then if they're successful, great. If not, no big deal. But I am trapped. It's weird because I love what I do. I love what I do, and if I wasn't this, I don't think I'd be an attorney because it seems like a really miserable living. Mm-hmm. But because I have a passion for this, I love doing this. So I don't want to do a different gig that takes me off this because I truly enjoy this. But there's a part of my entrepreneurial side that wants to go create. I've created a hospitality business and it's done really well. I've created liquor license brokerage business, but all those things take little time, and it was sort of out of my desire to get my creative juices out. I went and did it. Mm-hmm. But I have other ideas, but I need someone else to do it. Yeah. But people don't all have the same drive, and so
right. And people want to ride the coattails way too often.
And also, if it's not their idea, they into it, you know?
Well, what I've experienced in the past is people having great ideas, and you can sit and get really excited about the ideas, but there's no implementation. There's no drive to move forward. There's no, okay, what's the next step? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? To take that to the next level. You mentioned kids.
Yeah.
What do you hope your kids say about you at the end of the day?
I mean, it's not what I hope they say. It's what I hope they don't say about me. Dude, I mean, I know. Like, because now, like, you know, I have daughters that are like 21, 23, and 18. And so now they are kind of adults. Mm-hmm. And now they're not embarrassed to tell the stories in front of me that, like, I don't think they...
They're like, we can't get in trouble anymore.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, I cringe, you know, about some of the things. But I think they would say, look, despite, you know, sometimes I was a difficult dad, I think they would say that I taught them first to love God and Jesus, second to how to find a good partner. Mm. My wife and I have been married for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's been super easy. I think for her, it's...
I would say for you?
Yeah, exactly. For her, she's like, I can't believe I'm doing this thing.
She's like, she'll listen to this and she'll go, who are you talking about? Easy.
It's been way easy for me, bro. For her, it's been a struggle. You know, she's really fantastic. But I mean, like, I think that they would say, like, the importance of, like, finding a partner that's, like, equally yoked and supportive. And I think they would talk about someone who is full of integrity and honesty and hard work. And those are the things that I hope they would say. And I hope they'll tell a lot of funny stories. I mean, I like being funny. I'm sure podcast listeners are listening to this and going, that guy's not funny at all. But I like telling jokes. I like being silly. And I think they'd say, like, Dad was fun and he was energetic and he taught me also some really important life lessons like integrity and showing up and being reliable, being accountable. And not a lot of people are that way.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know why, but they're not. And, like, when you find someone who you can rely upon, is trustworthy, is reliable and accountable, keep them close because there's not many of those people. Yeah. And those, by the way, that's who you are because, and I think that's who I am, and that's probably why we get along fine. I think we recognize those traits are not easily taught or demonstrated. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, like, people clinging on, but they're not really, like, lifting up, or they're not really, like, leading, carrying forward. And so when you exhibit those types of traits of personalities, and people identify it and they see it and they go, we need you, Yeah. Yeah. And you have to be careful because also when you are that person, then sometimes people will give you more because you did it and they'll give you more. And it's, you almost have to learn how to say no sometimes.
Yeah. Which I'm still learning. Yeah. That's a tough word.
It's hard because you want you want to serve.
Yeah.
And B, I think you think I'm capable of doing this, or I'm one of the few people that can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to realize what's the value of your time, where your resources, and, like, where do you want to lift yourself up? There's a time where I probably won't be involved in the chamber. I don't know when that will be, but only because now I'm, like, moving forward into, like, new opportunities or new spaces or new leadership connections. Yeah. And so you can't always say yes to all the things.
Right.
Like how do you value your time?
Mm-hmm.
The moment you start valuing your time and then you guard it differently. Mm-hmm. Like what deserves your time?
Yeah. Talking about Withey Morris Baugh.
It's the best law firm in town.
I say, what do you guys do?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I know, but what do you do? And then what makes you different than, I was going to say a name, but I won't.
Yeah, don't, please. I don't want to dog on him. I just tell these really great things about me. Then you see the other side of me, it just rips on people. Freaking posers. No, so Withey Morris Baugh is a land use zoning law firm. And your intro talked about me, going to court. I've, like, never been to court. So thank you for that. But no, I don't know how to do that stuff.
I envision you being in court. You hold court very well. When I've sat on the dais and listened to you, it's very polished.
Yes.
Sometimes I have to laugh in the back of my head, try not to let it show on my face.
You've been really good about not texting me all the things that you probably want to make fun of me about saying. But, like, the only thing I know about courts is something I've seen watching Perry Mason or like Matlock on TV. We don't go to courts. At the end of the day, I tell people if they want to understand what I do, I just simply say, I'm your friend at City Hall. If whatever you need at City Hall, I can get it done. Whether it's, like, meetings or connections or permit expediting or interpretation letters or rezoning or development agreements or introductions. That's what we do. And so, like, my business is Withey Morris Baugh. I feel like Obviously, we do zoning and land use entitlements. We have a real estate practice. We have a transactional practice. But at the end of the day, we're a customer service company. That's it. We're a customer service company in the realm of like law and development. But if I don't deliver good customer service, I'm nothing. Like this firm doesn't exist. It doesn't thrive. It won't survive longer than me. The name Withey was my partner, Mike Withey, who doesn't work for us anymore. But you keep the name because the name represents a higher level of practice. It represents like an art. Jason Morris, my other business partner, is incredibly gifted, and he has an art and a craft on how he speaks and how he presents. It's incredible. I wish I could be 1/10 of what his abilities are. And so like that, this brand is known, I think, and recognized for its relationships, its integrity, and its ability to find a way to a win through some really unpredictable, uncertain, and strenuous situations. And I think people hire us. We don't do marketing. Like I do zero marketing. I just answer the phone. I pick up the phone, and then we decide if we want to take on that client or not. But the reason why we don't have to market is because I think the brand is known for success, and word gets around. People are like, hey, you have this case in that city. You really need to hire this guy. And I think that's been borne out just over the years of doing this and doing it right. I mean, you and I met through the chamber, but we also get to connect through the planning commission on occasions. And so you've seen a lot of people have presented cases, sometimes with their own representation, or sometimes themselves or with representation. And you know what a good one looks like, and you know what one doesn't.
You're okay.
Yeah, I'm just middle. I'm mid.
Yeah.
But
well, I wouldn't go that far.
But I pride myself on being that person, and I still need to come back and work on the next case. And so you have to be really mindful of like how you run a case, how you conduct yourself, how you present it, because there's another one around the corner. If people think you're a jerk, they're not going to help you out.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think I'm particularly bright in my understanding of the law. I don't think there's so many smarter attorneys. I just think I'm likable. And I think I'm authentic and genuine, and people really connect with that. And the relationships I'm building today, I don't know when I'm going to need them. But if they're not real today, you can't call on them later on.
Right.
And so you just have to treat the person who's the secretary or the low man at the counter the same way you would treat the director or the city manager, because at some point they may be that either in that city or somewhere else. And so, building key relationships of trust today matters for 20 years or 10 years or 5 years down the road. You never know. And so you treat everybody that way because they'll remember how you made them feel, and probably won't remember what you said or how smart you were, but they'll remember like who you are as a person and then want to help you out. And a lot of my success is because people have helped me out.
Yeah.
So that's who Withey Morris Baugh is. We're a really good zoning and land development law firm that builds the city. Everything from the retail shopping centers to your neighborhoods to your places of industry, we're zoned by somebody like us on the chance that it would get approved, and then it gets built, and voila, you now can live and shop and eat and work and play in your own town that you couldn't before.
So when I can't see the mountain anymore,
yeah,
I'm
also the guy who's ruining your neighborhoods. I'm raping your children. I'm pillaging your villages.
Probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, sorry, that sounds terrible. But that's what they say about me, right?
Oh.
I'm the one who's bringing the hookers and the drugs and the prostitutes.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Someday I am going to write a book.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to say.
Did I ever send you my bingo card?
Yes.
Yes. There you go.
Yes.
Things said at public hearings.
Oh, and I get it. I mean, we could do a whole episode on that. But it's one of those things where sometimes I wish that I could remove myself from the position and put that person who's speaking in that position with the knowledge I have in my head and go, listen to what you're saying. There's some people that present very well and say things that make me stop and go, okay, that makes sense, right?
The crazier the neighbor on my hearing, the more confidence I have that I'm going to get it approved.
Oh, yeah.
When they go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I know, oh, bingo,
It's
we
coming.
won this case.
It's coming.
It's when they come with a calm voice, with a rational thinking and reasoning, go, oh, dang, this is a formidable neighbor.
Yeah.
He's convinced. I'm convinced so
he
much.
is going to drive a wedge.
Yeah.
And those happen, right? Where somebody steps up and they're like, look, here's my credentials. I've been doing this for this long.
Yeah. We had this case, and you were on the planning commission then. I don't think you'd remember it, but It was off of Wrecker Road and Pecos, where it dead ends right in front of Higley High School.
The storage unit?
Storage unit, right?
Yeah.
So neighbors come out in arms because we got to stop the storage unit. And we come to the hearing, and they get up and they talk about how, and they say with so much high degree of confidence that, like, why would anybody doubt them? And they go, we all know that homeless people live in these storage facilities. Yeah. And also drugs and prostitutes.
Right. And rats.
And rats. Oh, yeah, and rats. And crime. And the crime's going to leave and jump over the fence and come into my pool.
Right.
And then my kids are going to be, like, seen in their bathing suit. And I go, well, first of all, we don't have windows on the storage units.
Right.
We don't allow people to live there. You know who rents storage units? Like the small business who's outgrown his space and he's, like, putting his supplies in that closet.
Right.
And the guy who put his Christmas decorations there and he's come back next year to pick them back up and do it again.
Right.
But I just remember, like, that case, you know, was one of the ones, like, they hit like 5. They almost got bingo. They got like 4
they were
in a
real
row.
close. They were close.
Yeah.
That's funny that you bring that one up because that is probably one of the main ones I think about when I just think, and God bless them, right? They don't want. And it doesn't matter what's going back there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter there was a storage unit. It could be a house. It could be, you know, and there are some times where we'll approve things and then it gets built and I go back later and go, oh, that's not really what I thought it was going to look like, you know. And not that I'd second guess it because I really truly
Never
believe.
on any of my cases, but we won't name those people.
Yeah. But there's times where you think, okay, it's private property.
Yeah.
Right. Does it make sense for the community? Does it make sense in that spot? Are they trying to overbuild it? And a lot of times now it's that piece of it, the overbuild, where it's like, oh God, why? You know, we're just crushing
some of the stuff that's fun to see is like American Furniture Warehouse. You know, when we did that one, huge furniture store, they had like 70% of the market share in like Montana. And when we brought that to the city, and they saw how much economic generation it is going to create, this is going to be their first store in Arizona. It was a farm field beforehand. The economic generation was so incredibly impressive that the city said, bring in your permits now, even though you're not zoned, and we'll get you zoned in 90 days. But we'll let you start your permits now because the tax dollars were wagging the dog.
Huge.
But then I've also had a chance to be involved in like some really cool, you know, civic projects. Like not everything is, you know, big greedy developer ruining neighborhoods, you know,
Right.
like helping a senior citizen community do a pickleball court. Oh, by the way,
Was that yours?
That was me too. Remember that one? How crazy people got?
My God.
The tennis club versus the pickleball club.
Yeah.
You know, all 55 plus.
forgot about
people
that
retired
one.
have nothing better time but to write letters about each other.
Do you know what sound that makes coming off the paddle?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You know, when I'm walking in the morning, somebody has a pickleball court in our area,
Think.
and I can hear it. On the cold mornings, you can hear it. Dink,
Yeah.
dink, dink.
But, you know, like I've also done things like one of my favorite ones was a school called ASA Now or Jacob's Mission. And they have a couple nonprofits in this building. And we took an old church and converted it into a facility for foster kids.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, they needed some zoning. They had to get a special use permit. And my client raised the funds, donated it to them. They then got a loan for the balance. We got it approved. Everything needs zoning. And so I've had, you know, great successes with a lot of behavioral health schools and clinics. And so as much as for every like big, bad, greedy developer, there's always another really good story that unfortunately the bureaucracy of City Hall requires somebody like me to help out. And so
I think there's always going to be the NIMBYs, and there's always going to be the person who, for whatever reason, believe they moved to the small town 5 years ago.
and nobody should come after
And
them.
Nobody's coming after them. Nobody's going to build in that lot that's been empty for.
You know, it's like when people are complaining about a project, I say, you know what's funny? When you moved in your home, you know what they were complaining about you? They're complaining that you were building the small lot, and now you're complaining about the next guy because he's building a small lot.
Yeah.
You can't. By the way, you can't convince him.
No, it is what it is. I mean, it's the same reason that everybody who lives in an apartment is trash.
Yeah. I mean, the people who live in apartments deserve to die. That's kind of the impression I get by the time we bring a zoning case.
God forbid that we've all probably lived in an apartment at one point in our life.
My goodness, I'd never been around so many drug lords and prostitutes and criminals in my entire life, except for when I lived. I was the cartel leader for the 2 years I lived in an apartment project.
Selling dum pops.
Yeah, I was selling blow pops laced with fentanyl.
That's funny. So your story's still being written.
story's still being written. Like, I don't know where the thing goes. 20 years in my practice. I feel like I got another 20 plus left.
You can be one of those old codger guys.
Please don't. If I am there and then we still know each other, I want you to take me out to like a farm and just shoot me like an old horse. Don't make
Adam, it's time to put you down.
Yes, please. I don't want to. Honestly, I see those guys.
Yeah.
I won't name names, but you don't have to name names. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
You're like, why are you still
still
practicing? Like, did you not make enough money?
oh,
Like, what is it?
Of course they did.
But I will say there's a part of me that loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe I would be involved, but on a select types of cases or something with greater, motivation.
Well, I think about with the agency, with the insurance stuff, and I think about, how many more years do I have left in the grind? But really, I enjoy the business.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the relationships probably the most. So it's kind of like, and I can't ever see myself stopping, not necessarily not stopping the business, but just, it's like, I got to do something.
If I was to do something like a second act of something, I think I would I'd love to get involved with helping people create businesses and like mentor and consult and guide them and like seed money them. That would be something I would really enjoy because I've been successful enough to myself where I don't need to participate financially in all those things, but helping people have like a head start into those spaces. Mm-hmm. When I started, I was an employee of a company. And when I became a partner, I was still an employee of a company, just with a different title.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I became like the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Could I do my ideas?
Yeah.
And be creative and nimble and test and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And then go back and look and go, yeah, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done it that way. Mm-hmm. And I apply a lot of those things in my business, and I love to help other people kind of have those moments. And I was making a comfortable enough income that I could afford to test out ideas and pay in fee structures, and maybe they didn't pan out, but it's okay because I was making enough income it's not a big deal. But not everybody has that luxury, and I would love to sort of like give those chances to people. That would be, I think, probably like that's probably the future me. Yeah. Future me is like, how do I give other people the chances to really to take a chance, and with like good bumper lanes.
Yeah,
a little bit of a fallback plan, a little bit of coaching, some mentorship, and sort of like helping them launch. I just feel like if they can see what they're really capable of, maybe this is my mindset, but once you see what you're capable of, how far can you really go?
Yeah,
I know not everybody's that way, but that's if you can find people like that, that's the people I like to get behind sport.
For sure. Grandkids?
Hopefully, not yet. No,
next year.
Well, I am Mormon, so
hey, like pop them out quick.
Yeah, I mean,
you got what do you have? 5 kids?
5 kids, yeah. My oldest.
So
is like
if they
23.
each have 5, you have 25 grandkids.
I don't think so. I mean, I grew up with family 6. My wife grew up with family 5. I don't know. I'd love to have lots of grandkids, but I'm not. I don't call those shots.
Do you see? And we'll wrap up. I'm kind of starting to go long, but do you see we'll say in the church, but in your community, where the generation coming up now is less inclined to want to have kids? Are you seeing that?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the society in whole, right? Yeah. That's interesting. When I got married, I thought I was going to have a big family. I knew this one kid named Bryce. He had 16 brothers and sisters.
Oh, my God.
And I met him selling pest control.
Yeah.
And it seemed awesome to me, but maybe because I moved so much. Mm-hmm. I didn't have friends as often because we were moving so quick.
Yeah.
So I always had to be around my siblings. But I'll tell you, like after like 3 kids, I knew it wasn't enough, but I was done essentially. Mm-hmm. So we had 4. But I definitely wasn't having any more than that. And then
did you figure out what caused them? You're just a slow learner.
Yeah, seriously, I didn't have cable television. And then Kim's like, got to like 4 years after our 4th kid, she's like, I think there's another one in our family still. And so, good enough. I mean, turns out like Sawyer came and she's been able. Like, I can't imagine not having her.
4 years. You didn't see the writing on the wall that she just didn't want to go back to work yet.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, we already gave away all the baby stuff. Like, we got to buy a crib again. I already gave away everything.
Man.
And so like, it's a lot. It's a lot to manage, but I couldn't imagine any other way.
So your oldest is 23.
Married.
Youngest is
11 tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So look, like my family, I have an incredible family.
Yeah.
I really do. My wife is the kindest person. She's so kind, but she's really fun. She's a ton of energy. everybody likes her. Everybody thinks she is their best friend.
Except when you're destroying neighborhoods.
Yeah. No, even then they'll be like, I hate Adam, but I really like your wife still. And she's girl. And so like my kids have seen an incredible mother, an incredible woman. She's an example. Like 5 has been the right amount for us.
That's great.
And I don't know if I could do it anymore, but like Kim truthfully, Kim does it all. I just go to work and then I come home and I play dad for a couple hours. Like she is there all the time. And she's been a nurse for years. And at one point she said, why am I working? I'm like, yeah, why are you working? And so she's been able to have the luxury of just raising, our kids, and it's all worked out.
That's great.
So I'm glad you brought me on the show. I don't know if I helped your viewership at all, but it's fun to just talk.
Yeah, I just enjoy these conversations and getting to know you, getting to know things that I didn't know about you. I mean, it's great. I didn't know you were a brat kid on the skateboard. So
no, look, there's a lot I could tell you after you turn off thing, but maybe why my nickname used to be Harley when I was in high school.
Oh no.
Yeah, or Black Thunder as a married man. But it's a different type of show. Before I could tell you that one.
There you go. Well, hey, I greatly appreciate you coming on and taking the time and spending it with me. I do have a little gift for you. Everybody gets one of these, so you can drink milk out of it. Powdered milk.
Is this a shot glass?
Yeah, it's actually one of these glasses. It says I went above and beyond, but it has your name on it, so you can put it on your desk and collect change. Or
maybe we'll put like a Coke in it or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That.
There you
Coke
go.
And rum? Is that what it is?
Coke and rum.
Is that what people do?
Rum and Coke, yeah.
Rum and Coke, yeah. No, I'll just stick with the...
You stick with the orange juice.
Thanks, man.
I wouldn't want you to go crazy. And a challenge coin.
That's cool.
For coming on. But yeah, I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks for having me on, my friend. And you know what? I'll just say, like, this is a friendship that's probably 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So, and I've always known I can rely upon you.
Well, I appreciate it.
And having somebody like that, there's not a lot of people that you can rely upon. I know that if I called you at 11 p.m., you'd answer my phone call and you'd come pick me up because my car is broken or, heaven forbid, bail me out of jail.
Yeah.
That's who you are as a person. And I just really appreciate your friendship.
Well, thank you. Don't give away any more of our secrets. But no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I'm Adam Baugh, and I went above and beyond.
We truly thrive.
Before you go, if you want marketing that actually moves the needle, check out lzrmarketing.com. Expert marketing solutions for your business. From websites and social to ads that convert, Liz and Riley help you stand out and grow. That's LZR Marketing, laser focused on your success.
Like, share, and subscribe to Above and Beyond, where excellence meets elevation. Elevate your mindset, one episode at a time.